time for final NASCAR Nationwide Series practice. The Auto Club Speedway. Sky's starting to brighten up a little bit. This is a 1 hour and 20-minute practice. Let's go down to the garage and speak with Miss Krista Voda.
Well, thank you very much, Steve. Of course, all eyes have been on Danica Patrick. She turned more laps in that last practice session than anyone else, and that was on purpose. Talked to Tony Uri Jr., the crew chief. He said she needs to get a better feel, not just for this track, but the back end of the car. He said right now she can't feel the back end. They're going to work on some things to get it a little bit more set. Right now, she doesn't know when and where to push the envelope. So that's what they are going to work on in this practice session. Let's go over to the other side of the garage and Dr. Dick Berggren.
Well, I'm hanging out in Kyle Busch's garage. As you can see, the car is out of here. He may well be the guy to watch to win the race here tomorrow at Auto Club Speedway. He has won 2 of the last 3 nationwide races here. Might have won last fall, led the first 38 laps, but he had a wicked flu, had to get out of the car. That caused him not to be able to win the event. Busch, very, very strong. He is the defending series champion.
All right, thank you very much, Dick Berggren. Steve Burns, Jeff Hammond, joined now by Hermie Sadler. And Hermie, Krista was talking about the fact that Danica ran more laps than anybody else. But truthfully, we had 2 caution periods in a 50-minute practice, and there really wasn't that much time on the track for anybody.
Yeah, that time really hurt the guys and girls that needed time on the racetrack. Basically, that first practice was for the teams that needed to tune the driver up, and this practice is for the teams that needed to tune the car up a little bit. So that really hurt her not getting all the laps. But she did get a few laps behind Brian Vickers, I saw, which is good for her. And that's what she needs to do, is get around people, Jeff Hammond, that know their way around this racetrack. You're lifting points, the line on the racetrack. And also watch what their car looks like so she can kind of, tell Tony Uri Jr. what she needs to get her car to drive like she wants it.
You're exactly right. And I'm glad we were able to bring you in from outside the cold, because you look kind of bad down on pit road earlier. But, the thing is right now, Stephen, watching the start of this second practice, I'm going to be interested to see, again, we talk about Danica. She knows she's locked in. Expect her to run a lot of laps just like she did in the first practice. But guys like Carl Edwards, Kevin Harvick, Greg Biffle, these guys have got to get their cars tuned up, not only for the race, but you brought it up in that very first practice. Starting up front has been a premium in the past. So I look for a lot of these guys maybe to run the first part of this practice, get the car kind of worked out race-wise, but they'll immediately go to a qualifying setup so they can get their car ready to go for a very important qualifying session tomorrow morning.
Hermie, Dick was talking about Kyle Busch and how well he's run here at the Auto Club Speedway, but why is it that an organization like Joe Gibbs Racing, like Roush Fenway, combined, those teams have won 10 of the last 12 races here, why is it that they have been that successful hitting on a setup?
Well, the setup is the key, but also if you look at Joe Gibbs Racing and Roush Fenway Racing in the Cup Series, they've all got drivers that know how to hustle a race car around a racetrack. This is a big, wide racetrack, but to go fast, you've got to be free, and you've got to know how to hustle the car.
Let's take a look at our Toyota track description, guys. Big 2-mile sweeping racetrack. And Jeff mentioned it earlier today, just 14 degrees of banking in the corners.
And it looks just about flat from inside that race car. You're approaching 200 miles an hour in turn 1. It looks like it's not a whole lot there to catch you, but that's what it takes. It takes some time to get used to that transition into the corner. And off of turn 2 can be a tough spot too, Jeff.
Now, we talked about that. They're coming off there, the way that goes down to that 3-degree banking on the back straightaway. The car has a tendency to unload. So trying to get off there low and driving your car straight up out on that back straightaway is so important. You get too high, late exit, you can really get loose. But I'm more curious off of turn 3, off of turn 4. When you get in the middle of 3, you get back to the throttle, does that banking on the front straightaway, does it kind of catch you a little bit and allow you to carry that much more speed?
Yeah, that'll catch you off turn 4, but that's a place you really cannot afford to be too loose, because you come on this long front straightaway where a lot of passing is done. You can gain or lose a lot of time if you have to feather that throttle off turn 4.
To Jeff's point, Hermie, we hear about this being a momentum racetrack. As we go on board with Kevin Harvick, talk about that, because a lot of the drivers have said if you don't hit a corner right, you've killed your entire lap.
There's no question this is a big-time momentum racetrack, and it's also a place, even though it's a 2-mile racetrack, very easy to overdrive this racetrack. You need to get off the throttle a little bit sooner, getting in the corner, but get back to the gas hard before you get to the middle of the corner. Make that straightaway as long as you possibly can.
I don't think Kevin was totally happy with what he was feeling right then. He's still the 7th quickest right now early in this second practice session, but you saw him go blowing by Kelly Byers, and he was catching up with the 12 car and of Allgaier, and it just looked to me like all of a sudden, I don't think I really like this. So he come on back down on pit road.
You know, Hermie, you mentioned this morning that Kevin Harvick has done everything but win here in the Nationwide Series. He's been second on 3 occasions, and he's in the top 5 almost every race.
Yeah, and he's won 34 Nationwide Series races, second most all time. And you would think one of those races is much work as he's always put into coming into his home racetrack or his home area, but it wouldn't surprise me at all to see him get that done tomorrow.
8 top 5s for Kevin here at the Auto Club Speedway.
And Steve, right quick, we're taking a look at Joey Logano, who's the fastest so far in this practice session. But here's a guy that a year ago, he didn't run a lot of nationwide races, but when he showed up, if there was a guy that could kind of like put it on Kyle Busch and take some of his thunder away, it was his teammate, Joey Logano.
Well, how about this stat? Joe Gibbs Racing has won the last 4 Nationwide Series races here, and they've done it with 3 different drivers.
I really think Joey Logano's runs and wins in that Nationwide Series last year, especially the ones over Kyle Busch, really gave him a lot of confidence. And I think it, although the cars don't necessarily transfer, his confidence helped transfer to you know, a better second half of the season in Sprint Cup last year.
So the Toyotas of Logano and Kyle Busch leading the way early here. See Joey Logano's crew chief Kevin Kidd. Stay with us here on Speed. Speed's presentation of NASCAR Nationwide Final Practice from the Auto Club Speedway is brought to you by Lumber Liquidators, hardwood flooring for less, and by the Sponsifier. Visit toyotaracing.com and click on Design It, Enter It. Carl Edwards in the garage area. Of course, he's doing double duty, one of 12 drivers. Let's take this opportunity to go back to Krista.
Steve, I want to give you an update on Danica Patrick. She has brought her Chevrolet into the garage. She said this is actually, the car is more predictable. She said on exit, I get into the throttle, it rotates, but then it pushes, not able to get into the corner as deep as she would like, but better than that first practice. Remember, Tony Eury Jr. said it's just a learning curve. Every little bit helps. She said right now it's getting better. Dick?
Well, there are a lot of advantages to being a defending series champion. One of those advantages here at the Auto Club Speedway is that you get a garage with nobody else around you. Kyle Busch's crew has all sorts of room to work on this car. Take a look next door. The garage next to him is just like everybody else's. 2 cars jammed into the same space. Carl Edwards' crew, Kelly Byers' crew, just getting a jack between those cars to jack up the right side of Byers' car or the right side of Carl Edwards' car is quite the project. So a big advantage to being the champion.
Thanks, Dick. We just had a brief caution wrap up. You see the 40 car there of Mike Bliss. Jeff, don't know if it really ever got up to speed. And anyways, NASCAR throwing the caution. He was very slow down the backstretch.
Yeah, I don't know what the problem was. We were watching him. He was going down the back straightaway, and you can clearly tell he was not under power. You see the team pushing him back to the garage area. So it'll be interesting to find out what problem does, you know, present itself finally as far as that 40 car is concerned. Old buddy right there, Brad Keselowski.
Brad Keselowski finished 5th here in October. That was his first finish inside the top 10 in 7 career starts. Let's go back to the garage. Krista has an update.
Yeah, I want to tell you a little bit about the 62 of Brendan Gaughan. When he brought his car in, he said, I can't lean on the right rear. He actually used the word greasy to describe the race car. He says it's a whole lot better than the first practice, but I don't like the feel. It's better, but I still don't like it. Greasy, Steve, that's what he said.
Not going to make a joke about Jeff Hammond.
There's a difference between being greasy and slimy. Okay, the difference right now is when you think about the 62 car from a year ago, you know who the new crew chief is over there. Todd Parrott. Guess who's spotting for Brendan Gaughan and Todd Parrott right now?
Not sure.
Papa Parrott. Buddy Parrott.
That's right.
Buddy Parrott is back working with this organization. Talked to Brendan, talked to Brad earlier today. They are both ecstatic. You know, Brad just came on to that 62 car just prior to Daytona. He hadn't had a lot of time to work with the program, but they feel like they're engineering everything they've done in the cars. I've seen Brendan Gaughan excited before, but this year, I think, you know, Rusty Wallace Racing, some of the changes they made, moving to Toyota, the alliance with Joe Gibbs, there are a lot of guys over there right now that are extremely pumped up and thinking they can run with the Joe Gibbs organization as well as Roush Fenway when it comes to week in and week out.
And speaking of which, I heard Brendan Gaughan say yesterday on Sirius Radio that his car that he's driving this week, as we watch Colin Brown, Brendan Gaughan's car is basically a car that's a duplicate of a Gibbs car, and Steven is driving a Gibbs car.
You know, I tell you, we talk about feeling of the right rear on a place like here in California. That's one thing in recent years that's really been kind of a tricky combination to get for your driver, because in the old days when you say, look, right rear is I can't feel it like I want to, and the car's a little bit too free, you'd automatically take right rear spring or rear spring out of the back of this car. But now you basically do the opposite. You put more right rear spring in the car to get the spoiler in the air more, so you can actually get the more downforce from the back to get the back of the car down. So it's a fine line you're walking. A good action right there on the racetrack. Brad Keselowski going
by his
past,
brother.
Yeah, Brad's his brother right there. But a tricky combination, Jeff, to make that change when it used to be you had to go the other way.
Yeah, take a look still at Brian Keselowski in the 26 car, car owned and operated by, basically his father and himself. They're put together this race team.
He had a good finish at Daytona last week.
Had a good finish last week, but you saw Brad pretty much just kind of like said, hey, bud, I'm coming through. See you later. Catch me if you can.
Brian's his older brother, and the fastest driver right now is Joey Logano. He's in the garage. Dick Berggren has an update on the 20 car.
Steve, they've got a terrible problem with this number 20 car. It is so good right now, they just don't know where to go in terms of how to change it to see if they can possibly make the car better. Logano thrilled with it. He has the best average finish here. The car he is driving won in Kentucky, Chicago, and Kansas. 3 of his wins last year were in this exact car. Last fall here at Auto Club, he won the pole, he won the race. You get the idea. Things are going pretty darn well for Joey Logano.
Well, Dick, I guess that's a good problem to have. Don't know
think so?
Leave it alone.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Put the cover on it.
Monday night, stop by the Hub for your NASCAR fix. We'll recap the action from Fontana and look ahead to Vegas. Don't miss NASCAR Race Hub Monday night, 7:30 Eastern, presented by Hooters.
I think I want to start doing Monday nights NASCAR Race Hub.
You want to start watching it or start doing it?
I want to be on the show.
Well, sure.
Somebody said the Hooters are going to be there and the Hooter girls are going to be there.
Now, see, Hammond always has an agenda. Why can't you just go on Tuesdays then?
I'll think about it. Get back with you.
Well, there's the birthday boy, Trevor Bayne, 19 years old today. I remember 19.
I don't.
You're a liar.
Barely.
Why you won't do that, Steve?
Oh, my gosh. 19 years old. What a bright future for Trevor Bayne out of Knoxville, Tennessee.
Kid's got a lot of talent.
He does.
Really good to listen to on the radio. Gives good feedback to the crew chief and handles his media interviews very well. And I think I'm with you. I think he's got a bright future in this sport.
I know Jerry Baxter is very, very high on him. Very, very excited. Feels like he's very privileged to get an opportunity to work with such a young talent.
He's probably happy to work with somebody that gives him a chance to talk instead of like Michael Waltrip.
Well, you got to realize now, after Michael, he wound up having to get stuck with David Rudiman. Yeah, speaking of Rudiman, he's here in this race. It's one of his 3 races, driving for Braun Racing, the number 10 car.
Quick right now, Jeff. He's 6th overall.
You remember last year, he started very, very strong in both series. And again, he comes out of Daytona with a really solid finish. And as he told me in the garage area early this morning, he said, Hammond, I finally got in the right line for the first time in my life. Good finish down there.
Dick Berggren.
Those who would argue about whether or not race car drivers are truly athletes had ought to be down here and take a look at the folks who are trying to run both the Sprint Cup and the Nationwide Series, like Paul Menard, because they are literally running back and forth between one set of garages and the other. The practices are literally one on top of another. Menard this year is running the full Nationwide Series as well as the full Sprint Cup Series. It is a grueling, grueling schedule. Athletes, you bet they are, Krista.
Oh, absolutely. The time that they have on the road and the time that they have in their practice sessions. Right now, Danica Patrick has been spending a lot of time in the garage. She has actually been in her car. They've been working on it since that first run. And Danica has actually been talking quite a bit to her crew. One of the big complaints right now is the radios have interference. So she's asking if the team can do something about that. And you would not believe the onslaught of media still here in California that is around her hauler and around her car right now.
Hey, speaking of Danica Mania, she's going to be on trackside next week at 8:30 Eastern. You got your questions ready, dude? For Danica?
Do I really need any? Because Daryl and Larry will ask all the ones I need to ask. So, I just figure you and I were just going to sit there. You were going to do the go to break deal,
Yep,
and
I
I just would sit there and, you know, do what I always do.
Well, there's Danica's teammate, Kelly Byers, making his 2010 debut.
I was a little bit close coming up off that
was.
corner. I think David Rudiman, I don't think Kelly Byers was expecting the 10 car to be that close.
Joey Logano's still the quickest, and he's followed by Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, and Greg Biffle. Later tonight, Daytona 500 champion Jamie McMurray stops by trackside for our little Friday night party / television show. Also joining Jeff Hammond, Larry Mack, DW, and myself, Clint Boyer, 8:30 Eastern here on Speed. We're about 20 minutes into this NASCAR Nationwide Series practice. Hermie, their final practice. Clint Boyer, speaking of whom, will be on trackside later watching practice.
He had a great run at Daytona 500 too.
Yes, he did. I wonder if he'd be bringing any kind of like party gifts, like some Cheerios or hamburger helper.
Don't know.
I mean, you got to understand, Matt Kenseth bought a pretty good gift last week. It's pretty nice.
He did.
So it's kind of just these things going. Yep, back on board here now with Danica Patrick inside that 7 car. Let's watch her and see what she looks like compared to her practice session earlier today.
44 drivers have been on track. Danica right now 35th overall, making her 9th lap. In this practice, as Krista said, she put more laps on the board in the first practice than any other driver.
Watch this in-car shot. This is, you know, racetrack looks so smooth on TV, which it is, but these shock packages on these cars are so aggressive. Watch how much she bounces around in the car coming off the corner and down the back straightaway. I mean, she is just riding and bouncing up down inside that car. I mean, these shock packages are just more and more aggressive every time we come back.
Well, I'll tell you what we got to do, guys. This morning, we were watching her inside her, and to me, she looks like she's a little more comfortable right now, but let's take a look at what she looked like inside the car this morning. And listen, guys, watch her listen to the way she's working the throttle. I mean, just listen to that. She was very, very tentative with the throttle. Right now, it sounds like she's getting back to the throttle with a lot more authority, and I think she's a little more comfortable inside the race car.
Yeah, I mean, she picked up about 2 seconds in time this morning. And if you look at her, she didn't go out this practice and run that real fast lap. But if you look at her most recent lap, she is, you know, she's still got a ways to go, but she is certainly making progress on the racetrack.
No, definitely. She's gotten much closer right now. But watch her. She's getting ready to come down pit road. And every time they come to the racetrack, they usually have her start trying to practice getting on the pit road for the race. Let's see what she looks like getting down there on pit road. There she is, downshifting, going from 4th to 3rd, down to 2nd. There's your commitment line. You need to be down probably 35 miles an hour tomorrow's race. Comes all the way down. Now she's looking where she might need to be getting into pit road here. Let's see if anybody's out there to kind of flag her in. Nope. I think just get down on pit road is all she's working on that time.
And that's one thing fans sometimes forget. It's all the little things you have to do to get a good finish. Because you can run good all day long, and if you have a bad pit stop or a pit road penalty or don't keep your foot on the brake or make a mistake, it can all go for naught. And so there are a lot of little things that it's going to take to have a good finish.
Speaking of good little things I talked about earlier today, here, look at this gear shift right here that she's running, Hermie, compared, you know, to like a lot of other drivers. They're used to using the ball, the round ball on top of that. This is something that they've come up with that undoubtedly she's requested to make it more driver comfort. I mean, it's nothing wrong with it. I mean, anybody can use it, but you just don't see it a lot in stock cars.
I see. I'll tell you one thing I like about it. Number one, it's something she wants and it's comfortable, but you can tell it's not a long shift between gears. She can really almost like bump it like a slap shift to get it in gear, and helps her get through the gears a lot faster.
And we take a look right there. There's a crew chief coming in. But here's what I was talking about. We're taking a look inside of Stephen Wallace's car. Here, he's got a shift ball on his gear shift.
More of a traditional shifter.
Coming up through the gears right there, 1st, 2nd. Up to 3rd here next. Coming up through the gears. Checking back to see what's going on here as he gets ready to make a merge up on the back straightaway.
Let's go down to the garage and Dick.
Clint Boyer has been standing on top of his hauler watching Richard Childress' driver, John West Townley. He's pretty much a rookie here. He's only run a couple times. You've got a lot of experience. What can you tell him to help him out, Clint?
I was just trying to listen and just trying to, hopefully do my part and help him out. He's a good kid. He's a good race car driver. He's been learning a lot. And, all these guys were my old guys, Dan and everybody, so I like working with them as well. So just hopefully lending a hand if needed to be, and if nothing else, just to be here for support. But looks like they're doing just fine. He's getting a good handle on the car, and so far so good for him.
Just a fair warning for tonight when you're on trackside, the crew is looking for Cheerios or maybe some Gillette, but especially a sample from BB&T. A few bucks would help. Krista.
Yeah, that's the right sponsor you picked there, Dick, for sure. Let's tell you what Danica is saying as she brought her car in this time. She said she is just not confident going into the corner, and she said it's basically due to the rear end. Now, on the good end, she said the front end is more consistent, but entry into corner due to the rear end, she just doesn't have a good feel. The back end is still not in the racetrack. Her suggestion, let's try some new tires. Maybe I just need a whole different feel entirely.
Well, I'll tell you something, and this is a learning process for her, but I'll tell you something I noticed on that in-car footage, Jeff, that some of the drivers do differently at a place like California. When she goes into the corners, she's coming all the way out of the throttle at one time, which, as you know, can really unlock those rear wheels and give you a little bit of a free feeling into the corner. Once she gets more comfortable, she may be able to more roll out of that throttle really slow and maybe trail the brake a little bit to keep that rear end housing locked up, and it'll really make her feel more at ease or more comfortable in the car, because it took me a long time to learn, as does all drivers. Sometimes the further you drive the car down into the corner and keep that housing locked up, the car feels tighter than when you let out a little bit earlier and get off the gas all at one time.
You're exactly right. And that rear end unlocking like that will give you a sensation that all of a sudden it's going to spin out, and it will. Yeah. And if you do it the wrong way, if you jump slam out of the throttle, it will do that. And, again, it's adapting to what this feel is. First time she's had an opportunity to come here to, really feel the speed, but more importantly, to feel the lack of banking at that speed.
I remember the first time I went to Michigan, my old crew chief, Bobby King, first time I've been on a track like that, and I said, I'm loose getting in the corner, what do I need to do? He said, drive it in there further and then get out of the gas easier and tap the brake. And it just takes time to realize that you got to drive it further down in the corner to get that feeling that you want, but that's all a part of the learning process.
Take a quick break here at the Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. Stay with us. On Sunday, it's NASCAR race day built by the Home Depot. John Roberts, Hermie Sadler, Wendy, Kyle, Kenny Wallace. We'll talk to Jamie McMurray about the biggest win of his career. And they'll find out why Roush Fenway seems to dominate the race here in Fontana.
Now, was I on that promo? Or did you?
I added it.
I appreciate that so much.
I added you.
Are you not part of the show?
Depends on who you ask.
Be added.
Depends on who you ask.
You're part of the show. Speaking of show, here's a guy that's going to put on the show, I'm sure, tomorrow. Carl Edwards in that number 60 car.
10 starts here at the Auto Club Speedway, 2 poles, a win, and just like Kevin Harvick, 7 top 5 finishes.
Yeah, been very consistent, runs up front every time he comes here. He's always a good person to keep your eye on when you come to Fontana.
Yeah, currently second in the points. Coming out of Daytona, a solid finish.
Got a cup win here in February of 2008. Just heard Clint Boyer talking to Dr. Dick Berggren about mentoring John West Townley in that 21 car.
And this is a good opportunity for him, to get in this car, a Richard Childress racing car. It's a chance for him to learn in good equipment with good people. But on the other hand, Jeff, as he's getting this opportunity, his expectations are going to rise dramatically as well. So a lot more pressure than he had before.
I get ready to say, there's Clint sitting there watching him, but he's also got another veteran driver who's his driver coach has been working with him. That's talking about David Green, former series champion, been with John West Townley for a while. Talked to him this morning. He said that, everything's getting better, but as you alluded to, as you move up into better equipment, the equipment is solid. This organization, they've won championships in it. They've won races in that number 21 car. Now it's his time to step up and show what the equipment's good, can do along with his talent. So a lot of pressure on this young man.
And just like same for Kelly Byers, Hermie.
Oh, yeah.
Kelly said, hey, I'm glad. I'm so thankful to be in great equipment. But there again, now the pressure ratchets up a little bit.
Yeah, when you hop in a car that's consistently running the top 5 and won races and championships, then if you don't do it, then it's easy to say, the only thing we've changed is the driver.
That's right.
So, he really needs to step up to the plate. But I agree with Clint Boyer. I mean, he needs an opportunity to adjust to this kind of equipment, and we'll see what he does.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. having a good practice. 9th overall right now.
He really had a good run going to Daytona last week. Had problems on pit road, Steve, twice slid through his pit box on at Daytona, but seems to have a lot of talent, and really got a top 10 speed going right now, here in practice.
Hammond, you'll like this about Ricky Stenhouse. He's a big PBR fan, professional bull riders.
I'm telling you right now, talking to some of the guys that work with him, they say that he is definitely the kind of guy that he kind of reminds him of a Tony Stewart or Cale Yarborough type.
Drove for Tony Stewart.
He'll manhandle a race car. He may not be the most finesseful guy out there on the racetrack, but when the car's good, he's going to be real bad fast. When the car's off, he's still going to hang on to it.
I believe Krista Voda is standing by with our birthday boy.
And that's exactly what we're down here talking about. Everyone coming up wishing Trevor Bayne a happy birthday. So obviously a good birthday present would be a good run tomorrow. How is your race car?
That's for sure. I would like to want to race at 18, but if we can do it our first week of being 19, that'd be pretty awesome. We've been fighting the car being tied all day, but we made some good changes the last run. We're going to continue to go that direction and see if we can't get this Aaron's Dream Machine up front here. Top of the board will be hard to do because the tires fall off so much, but I think if we get to qualify, we'll be all right. It looks like the rain's coming in for tomorrow for qualifying, but starting 17th isn't that bad. Maybe we can work our way to the front from there.
All right, thank you very much. The 19-year-old Trevor Bayne.
19.
You wonder how I say the same thing about Joey Logano. They can drive a race car, but he can't run a car.
Or buy beer.
Or buy beer. Well, you don't need the beer, but he certainly needs a rental car to get to the racetrack.
Right. Well, we've talked about Kyle Busch and Joe Gibbs Racing here at the Auto Club Speedway, and Kyle Busch just pretty much owns this place. Hermie just pointed out as we look at Kyle Busch that Danica Patrick has picked up some speed. She's just gone from 34th to 22nd.
Well, we were talking, and she was asking for new tires. I've made a request to find out from our great folks down on pit road out there to find out maybe if she put the tires on, because I think that's what it's indicating.
I'm guessing she did, yeah.
She got new tires, and she's found some, picked up almost a second right there. And we confirmed that she did get new tires on this 7 car, so it made it a little more comfortable for her. And she said, hey, when it's comfortable, I'll drive it faster.
Joey Logano still leading the way. Danica up to 22nd. Stay with us. 36 minutes into this practice, which is scheduled for about 1 hour and 20 here at the Auto Club Speedway. Steve Burns, Jeff Hammond, Hermie Sadler, Dick Berggren, and Krista Voda with you. Glad you're here on what has become a somewhat sunny day. The day started out overcast. Chance of rain later tonight. The forecast looks great for Sunday.
Willie Allen in the 05 car.
Newt Moore, the crew chief, veteran crew chief. Turning the wrenches for Willie.
Currently 42nd.
Hermie got a big field of cars here. 49 cars are entered. 46 have been out to practice.
Yeah, good turnout of nationwide cars. Here's a great market to bring sponsors and people trying to get you affiliated with your race team. And we can talk about getting all the way out here and being all the way on the West Coast a week after Daytona, but it's definitely a place we need to be, and it's definitely a good place to have our sponsors and our teams represent.
And there's something else too as we take a look at this 05 before when you talk about sponsors. There's a lot of teams who come out here just like Willie Allen. He has got to qualify for this race, so you hate to come this far and miss the race too. So he's 42nd right now. You've got to find some speed in that 05 car.
Back to Krista.
Danica Patrick being very descriptive on her radio as she brought her car in. She's basically been talking to her crew chief Tony Uri Jr. the entire time. She said, remember, their focus is working on getting the rear end, the back end of the car into the racetrack. She said she can go much deeper into the corner on that run, but as she would go in, she would feel a little bit of a rock. She said it would twitch a little bit. She'd wait, and then it would push. Once it loads up, though, she could feel the side load. So she said she's getting the feeling better. She's feeling more, but she said the first issue she wants the team to address is a little bit of a loose feeling mid-corner.
All right, thank you, Krista.
Hermie, I hate to say this, but there are some things that are inherent with a race car that you may have to live with. I mean, sometimes that little momentary feel right in the mid-corner, because what she's describing if it's a little bit loose right in the mid-corner, but yet it's pushing coming off, that's going to be something that I think is going to be very difficult to take out of that race car. You can't make it tighter in the center and freer on exit with any amount of ease. You know what I'm saying?
It's a balance issue. And I tell you, one thing that she's also got to learn, and Tony Jr., you know, is right on top of that, is that car is going to have to be loose or free at the beginning of a run if she's going to be competitive into a 15, 20, 25 lap run, because all the guys that run up front at this type of racetrack are just holding on for the first 10 laps, and eventually that car will come around. If you got it feeling good on lap 1, chances are it's going to be too tight to be competitive lap 10, 15, and 20.
Well, as we take again a look at Tony Eury Jr., he's leaning in the window there talking to Danica Patrick. That has got to be the biggest challenge for him, is knowing what he needs to do. He's won races. He's been with some of the best drivers in the world. He knows how to get that car into a winning configuration. But he also understands she's not ready for that quite yet. So if he tries to give her too much of the winning combination and she messes up wrecks, all of a sudden now she's lose valuable seat time. This is I think a very difficult.
More importantly than that, confidence.
Yes, it's a very difficult situation for him as well as for her. And I think right now, if there's somebody out there that probably can handle this as well as anybody, it will be Tony Eury Jr. right there. And Krista, you sit there and watching them work. What are they saying?
Yeah, Jeff, that's exactly what Tony Eury Jr. and I talked about before this practice session. He says right now she just has to feel things in the race car that she's really never felt before. I guess maybe liken it to, you don't realize a stove is hot until you touch it. Some of these things that you had said she needs to feel, right now she's describing things she wants fixed. I think she's going to figure out that what really is an issue and what's not. But Tony Eury Jr. is glad that she's feeling those things, because for him to say this is what the car's going to do isn't the same as her actually feeling it.
Well, one thing, Krista, and we've talked to Juan Pablo Montoya about how important it is for her at the IndyCar ranks. They have onboard computers that tell the engineers this is what the car's doing. The driver can back it up. Now, all of a sudden, she is that onboard computer. She has to give those kind of feedback back. And I think it's just something that Darrell's talked about it. It's going to make her a better race car driver, because she's going to be able to give better feedback back now than ever before.
Dick Berggren has an update on Carl Edwards.
And that's one of the reasons Carl Edwards is such a fine race car driver, because he is capable of giving his crew very, very detailed feedback as to what the behavior of the 4 tires are like all the way through each of the corners, entry, middle, and going out. And he had just done that, come into the garage. The crew worked on the car for a very long time, despite the fact that Edwards currently is 5th quickest. They are focused on winning here tomorrow at the Auto Club Speedway, because the last 4 times that Edwards has been here, he's finished 5th, 2nd, 4th, 3rd, tantalizingly close, but not close enough to take the big trophy home. Tomorrow may be the day, though.
And to Dick's point, I've heard drivers, Dick talked about entrance, middle, exit. I've heard drivers break it down even more. They talk about late exit or late entry. They segment a corner even to a further degree.
When we get back from a break, we'll talk about a guy that happens to be teammate with Carl Edwards is supposedly really good at that.
I'll wait here. How about you, Hermie?
I ain't going nowhere.
Joey Logano, 17 laps of practice, and he has the one fastest lap. We are 44 minutes into this practice. One brief caution, Mike Bliss slowed on the back stretch. We're told that was a fuel pickup problem. Otherwise, this practice has been clean and green. Greg Biffle, another guy who's had a lot of success here at Auto Club Speedway. 3 nationwide series wins on this 2-mile super speedway.
He should be a handful tomorrow.
Driving for Mike Curb, that 27 car.
I'll tell you, somebody who works with the Curb deal is the 43 car of Scott Legacy Jr. And he was real excited about having Greg as a teammate this year, and couldn't wait for him to kind of get places like here and next week at Las Vegas. He feels like Greg's going to help him a lot this year. But Remember the question and what I was telling you when we went to break about somebody
Yes.
who really breaks down a corner that people were bragging about this morning? You'll be surprised. It's a rookie. It's the guy who drives this 16 car. I was talking to Mike Beam. He's a veteran crew chief, and now the race director, competition director for Roush Fenway. He says Colin Braun can come in and break down, debrief better than anybody he's ever been around. He says you can go back and look at his notes, and they're so detailed, race and/or practice, that it'll just blow your mind away. It really will. And I found that hard to believe, but he said it's almost like talking to an engineer, the way he breaks it down.
You guys have been talking about it, this practice as it relates to Danica. I think that was one of the things that struck me about Kurt Busch and Matt Kenseth early in their careers. They were able to give such detailed feedback to their respective crew chiefs. Yes, they had talent, but the crew chiefs, Hermie, were able to give them, to make the changes they needed to make that car faster.
Yeah, some of it, some people catch on to that knack a lot quicker than others, and that's a really important part, in this day and time of being a well-rounded race car driver. You can't just come in and say it's loose or it's tight and expect them to fix it. The more information you can give the people working on the car, whether it be the crew chief, engineers, what have you, that they can really help you, give you what you need. And some people just can do it from day one, and some people it takes a lot of time to figure out, because you don't want to just give information. You got to give good information.
Yeah,
I remember
more than pushing loose.
Yeah, exactly. I remember Hermie racing against that guy Dennis Setzer when Dennis drove the number 59 Alliance Tractor Trailer Training Center.
Number 59, black and gold.
With Ricky Pierce.
And what a great race car driver he is, and an even better person.
What a great guy, yeah.
And I've had a lot of battles with him through the years at Hickory and South Boston, Orange County, and he's got a lot of, he's known for being a great short track racer, what he is, but he is a good race car driver all the way through and knows a lot about those race cars.
Yeah, he looked very impressive during that Camping World Truck Series last week. Remember, he led at Daytona. But the thing is about Dennis and the battling on the short tracks and stuff, did he ever take you out, Hermie? I mean, he used to be bad about using that chrome horn.
No, I can't ever remember. Now, Randy LaJoie's another story. I never had much trouble with Dennis Setzer.
And Larry Pearson would use that bumper, right, Hermie?
I'm not real fond of Larry Pearson, but Dennis is all right.
This Thursday on Speed, it's an all-new Bull Run with Bill Goldberg. An unexpected twist forges new alliances, but with 200 grand is on the line, who can be trusted? Don't miss an all-new Bull Run with Bill Goldberg Thursday night at 10 Eastern on Speed.
Hermie, I put mine and your name in to get on that show, you as a driver, and I'd work on it. They never responded. You think they were scared of us?
If Bill Goldberg found out me and you were coming, he'd probably quit.
That's right.
Do what?
He'd be scared of us.
That's right. We put a whooping on them boys.
See Eric McClure in the 24 car, just 40th overall. He's run 10 laps of practice. Meanwhile, Dick Berggren has an update on Greg Biffle in the 27.
He's having a good day, Steve. Biffle right now is 4th on the speed chart. He has 3 wins here at the Auto Club Speedway, and so far so good for Greg Biffle. They have tried a lot of stuff on the car. They put some changes into it, and virtually every change they have put into it, according to crew chief Ricky Byers, they have wound up taking out. They are just about where they started. Biffle's got a fast race car and a happy crew.
And he doesn't mind driving fast either, does he, Hermie?
He'll hang one out in a minute. That's a good deal. Greg Biffle really wants to run some nationwide series races. I mean, he's been running the Roush Fenway cars for the last several years, and they'll give him some opportunity to some younger developmental type guys, and he worked hard to find a spot here in this 27 car. That's a good fit for both operations because they need an experienced driver with a name to bring sponsorship in, and it gives Greg an opportunity to keep racing on Saturdays, which is really what he wants to do.
Matt Kenseth, you see the all-time leader with 4 wins, but not entered in this weekend's Stater Brothers 300.
Yeah, we got, 12 guys doing double duty this weekend? Here's one of them right here, Joe Nemechek, and taking a look at this 87 car. I don't know if anybody was following that particular race about a year ago, but that's the car that Joe flipped at Nashville. And then went back, put a new body on it, made some repairs to it. Joe says right now, we nicknamed the car Flipper. Kind of appropriate. And talk about troubles coming across to the west coast as far as leaving Daytona and trying to make their way here. They have definitely had it as far as Nemco Racing is concerned. His brother Mark was driving the hauler, blew the engine in the transporter.
Oh, no.
Went and got a replacement truck from Penske Truck Lease, got on down the road about another 4 or 5 hours, blew a tire out on it. And so they say that all their bad luck, hopefully, is done.
I hope. Joe has 2 top 10 finishes here, Nationwide Series competition. Run a total of 12, excuse me, 12 nationwide races here. Taking a look at another California native, Jason Keller in the 38, excuse me, Jason Leffler.
Just call him left turn and get done with it.
Jason Leffler. Jason's from Long Beach, California, about 60 miles from here.
He's been fast all day as well. He was top 5 in the first practice and hanging in there in the top 10 in 8th position right now in practice number 2. And that's no surprise. Those cars out of that shop have really been fast on these types of racetracks the last couple of years.
Young James Busher in the number 1 car, 15th overall. Had a good start to this season at Daytona.
Yeah, he finished up 8th. This organization right here, Phoenix Racing, owned by James Finch, looking to find some sponsorship after longtime sponsor Mikasuki.
You got to hope somebody like James Finch finds something, though. He has spent a lot of his own money over the years to stay in this sport, and has really been competitive and been loyal to the Nationwide Series for a long time. Really hope somebody steps up to the plate and helps that race team.
Here's a car here that your brother ought to be driving. Nothing against Mike Bliss, but it's got Buck Commander on the hood and Bad Boy buggies on the quarter panels in the back of the car. I mean, it sounds like a perfect sponsor for your outdoory brother.
Anything to do with outdooring and deer hunting would be right up his alley.
Yep. Besides that, we could use one of them Bad Boy buggies to get back and forth in the condo.
Oh, you got an agenda, I see.
Working the deal here.
Working the deal.
You know, you just never know when you might need one.
Almost an hour into this NASCAR Nationwide Series practice, Joey Logano is still leading the way. Put 20 laps now on that number 20 car. Kyle Busch won 2 of the last 3 races here, and as Dick said early in this show, he got out of the car after leading 38 laps here in the fall and gave way to one of his teammates. I've mentioned this stat earlier today. Want to mention it again. Joe Gibbs Racing has won the last 4 Nationwide Series races here, Hermie, with 3 different drivers. Kyle Busch has won twice, Joey Logano and Tony Stewart.
Pretty good lineup of drivers, but that says a lot about the equipment that organization puts on the racetrack in this Nationwide Series. Always competitive, always in contention to win, and they have really got a great program in this Nationwide Series.
I mean, they treat it exactly like they do their Cup program. There's nothing that differs from the 2 deals, so their results just should not be surprising, because again, they spend a lot of effort and a lot of resources to make sure that they're number 1 in this series.
Brian Vickers was fast in the first practice. Fastest. Right now he's just 18th overall. Running a limited schedule this year, as he has in the years past. Former Nationwide Series champ.
Yeah, you mentioned that he'll be sharing rides with Casey Kane and David Rudiman.
Wonder why, Hermie, wonder why Vickers, there's such a disparity in where he was on the speed chart from first practice compared to this one.
My guess is that they're running the same set of tires they ran in the first practice this morning. Also ran a few more laps in practice number 1 than some of the other teams did. And some of the guys up front, you know, have put tires on and focusing more on getting ready to do a qualifying run. So he's definitely got a fast race car. Looks good on the racetrack and Brian always gets around this racetrack very well.
Vickers has 2 Sprint Cup Series poles here in Fontana. See Mike Wallace in the 01 car. Monster Diesel Chevrolet. Mike right now 33rd overall, working his 21st lap of practice. And Jeff, to your point earlier, you know, it's great to have a big field of cars here, 49 for 43 spots. But again, if you don't make this race, it's a long ride home. Most of these teams headquartered in the Charlotte, North Carolina vicinity.
Well, I mean, one of the benefits would be, you know, at least it's a short haul over to Las Vegas.
Will many of the teams stay out here and maybe swap out cars?
Yes, absolutely.
Most of them, if not all of them, will either stay here and get their stuff done before they leave, or a lot of them use some of the facilities right around the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, go in and swap trucks out, swap engines, whatever has to happen. But that is a good move by NASCAR, scheduling-wise, to get us 2 back-to-back races on the West Coast out here. It really benefits the fans, but also really cost savings for all the race teams.
Yeah, one of the places that they'll go to, believe it or not, they'll go over to, Brendan Gaughan still has a shop over there right next door to the Speedway, and a lot of guys will use his facilities during the changeover. Probably even, you know, Brendan's team will probably also be there, you know, the Rusty Wallace Racing.
Chris Devoda has an update on James Busher.
Yeah, Steve, James Busher, our leading Rookie of the Year candidate after his run at Daytona, top 10. Right now, he's just been running laps. They said just keep running laps. The tires will start to fall off. You'll get a feel for the handling that you have. Right now, he said his race car is tight off of 2. They also are going to plan to load up the shock on the right front to make it turn a little better. Dick?
Brad Keselowski is second quick on the board right now, and the crew is a bit surprised that they are as good as they are. This is the first weekend that they have all been together, and I'm sure you've read the books in the magazines and heard it on TV. It takes a long time for a driver and a crew to get together. Not so here. They seem to have gelled almost immediately. One thing they don't have to worry about is Keselowski bringing the car home in one piece. He has been running at the finish of 68 of these nationwide races in a row. No DNFs all of last year, and he's fast. Right now they're a little bit loose coming off the corners, and they're going to try to fix that while they're in the garage.
Thank you, Dick. All 49 teams have been on the racetrack. Michael McDowell crashed in the first practice. The last driver on this 2 Mile Auto Club Speedway. Stay with us here on Speed. As the favorites fell in Daytona, Timothy Peters proved he isn't a one-hit wonder. Now the newest truck stars leads the field into Atlanta, where everyone runs the ragged edge. Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series live from Atlanta, March 6th, 1:30 Eastern, only on Speed. Well, Hermie and Jeff have been talking about driver comfort a lot. We have some examples.
Yeah, look at this. I thought it was interesting. We've seen in-car camera shot of Danica Patrick, you know, pretty much all day off and on. Look how far the steering wheel is from basically, you know, her seat. Her arms are pretty well extended, get to the steering wheel. Now look at James Busher at the top. His steering wheel is
real
right
close.
there, close to him, right top right there. I mean, he's really got that steering wheel close to him, Jeff. And then the 99 car of Trevor Bain, he's kind of somewhere in the middle, but it's just all about what the driver wants, what he's comfortable with.
James Busher, that's amazing how close that steering wheel is to his chest.
Yeah, it's very, very close, but, you know, it's not a problem the way these cars are designed. Even if you get in the wall or something like that, it doesn't usually present an issue with the steering wheel coming back into their chest. But my biggest concern, and I was watching this earlier, it looks to me like it would help Danica to get that steering wheel a little bit closer and maybe a little bit lower, because, again, the way you pull and turn on the wheel, this seemed like it would be easier for her in the long run. Now, Darrell was talking about how strong she is, and Steve, you made the comment that Tony Eury Sr. told you that the open wheel cars like she races in, they don't have power steering, but they do have racket pinion, so, you know, you use a lot of strength, but those cars are a lot quicker too than what our cars are. Scott Legacy Jr., currently 24th. Teammate, we talked about it, to Greg Biffle, and another Baker Curb entry, number 43. Guys, you ever been by the Baker Curb Race Museum over there in Kannapolis, North Carolina?
Years ago. It was back in the 80s.
It's almost like you need to go by there again. I drove by there recently going into Kannapolis. It brought back a lot of memories because, you know, at one time, Dale Earnhardt Jr. drove for him. There's been a lot of great race car drivers that have driven for Mike Curb and
the
Baker
King.
Curb. Yeah, the King drove for him. So they got a lot of cool cars over there, and they have supported a lot of racing series, not only in the Nationwide or Cup. They've been World of Outlaws and a little bit of everything.
Mike Curb, the former lieutenant governor of California.
Part of Curb Productions. We're talking about Record Productions. Maybe Darrell can get him a record deal with him so he can sing on for him. What do you think?
DW was doing a lot of singing this morning.
He was singing during their off-air stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we touched briefly on the fact that Rusty Wallace Inc., Steve Wallace, that they've switched over to Toyota. I would have to imagine, Hermie, that's a big plus for them to have that alliance with Joe Gibbs Racing and quite frankly, the rest of the Toyota alliance.
Yeah, you can tell Rusty and his whole operation are really tuned in this year to whatever they got to do to be competitive. They really want to get Steve Wallace up towards the front, contend to win some races. This is the year for him that, you know, he's got a couple years under his belt. A really big year for him in terms of, you know, running up front and having a chance to win some races and furthering his career. They realize what a big year this is for him.
Know who the shop foreman is over there? Old friend of yours, Wes Ward. Yep.
One of the better looking men.
He's a handsome man, is he not?
Man.
And he'll tell you.
He will that in a second.
That goes back to what I was saying earlier when they brought Brad Parrott in over there to help Brendan Gaughan, which is now just being passed by the 66 car Stephen Wallace. That was one of the realignments that they did, leaving Wes Ward and some other guys there at the shop to get their cars prepared to be better prepared from week to week. Some structure, bringing us some experience in like Brad Parrott. I mean, Brad has won with just about every driver he's ever been with and every rookie he's ever been around. He seemed like he's always helped. So Rusty Wallace Racing's made a lot of improvements or a lot of changes to try to upgrade their overall performance this year.
Derek Cope in the 73 car, 25th overall. You know, we haven't talked about the speed a lot yet. And quite frankly, Hermie, I think that's because this place is deceptively fast. It may not look that quick, but speeds here are extremely high.
Speaking of speeds and extremely high, look, he just jumped to the top of the leaderboard.
How about that?
Mr.
Brian,
Scott.
He missed a lot of practice, dumped oil all over the racetrack in practice one. They got it fixed and got him back on the racetrack.
Had a problem with his radiator.
Yep. There he is right there in that number 11 car.
Closing in on the end of this final NASCAR Nationwide practice. Stay with us here on Speed. Speed's presentation of NASCAR Nationwide Final Practice from the Auto Club Speedway is brought to you by the Sponsifier. Visit ToyotaRacing.com and click on Design It, Enter It. We saw Rutledge Woods' efforts
Why
at
did you
Daytona.
have to bring him up? Do you know how many votes he's got so far for his design?
No.
1.
Good.
And I heard tell Hermie Sadler gave him that was a sympathy vote. Did you do that, Hermie?
Sometimes people deserve some pity.
Brian Scott is atop the scoring chart right now. He is the fastest in the 11 car, but Dick Bergman telling us that his water temperature running hot, about 260 degrees.
Pity was an inside joke. I'm not sure everybody at home would have gotten that.
Got it. For Rutledge, you mean?
Yeah, but an inside joke. Your wife says she does a lot of stuff for you because she pities you.
Feel sorry for me,
Feel
you mean?
sorry for you.
She does.
Yeah.
Dick Berger, what's going on now with that 11?
Well, you just said most of the story, which is that he came in at 260 degrees. Billy Wilburn, the crew chief, told him to refire the engine and let it cool down a little bit. So Brian Scott has done that. This is a Braun Racing entry. They have no owner points with this team, so they have got to qualify. And the fact that they've got a car as fast as they do, well, that's a big help.
All right, Dick. Danica Patrick headed down pit road, and as Hermie said, everything here is new for her. She's practicing getting on pit road, and things that we kind of take for granted.
Going back to the 11 car, Dick, talking about, you know, Billy Wilburn telling Brian Scott to refire that engine to cool it off. What that'll do, Jeff, is recycle the water through the engine one more time and get that temperature down a little bit.
Yes, it will. And speaking of guys who know a little bit about engines, there's the cat in the hat, Jack Roush, over there clearly working and checking on his entries. That was right there next to Carl Edwards at number 60.
I still want to know how you read spark plugs, which is what he was just doing.
You know, I hate to try to get into it, but really, it's something that you develop a talent for.
I mean, I know why you read spark plugs.
Yeah, but it really becomes a talent. You know when you're looking at it when it's the too much timing's in it, when it's too lean. You know, you learn what is going on. Sometimes you can even, the good guys can even tell when the squirters are too big on the carburetor and how much raw fuel is being dumped down into the engine. So a guy like Jack Roush, I mean, again, we take a look right here at Colin Brown.
Jeff, he just jumped from
Braun.
14th.
He just jumped up to 14th to 4th. But on top of that, the 27 car, Greg Biffle, has just jumped to the top of the leaderboard.
Let's go to Dick Berggren.
With Brian Vickers, certainly one of the biggest stories out of last week's Daytona 500 was the racetrack. What is this track like now?
This track, it has a lot of age on it as well, which I think is great for the racing. You know, I mean, it's getting a little bit rougher, but it's a long ways away from what we saw last week. You know, it's a shame that happened at Daytona because we all love that racetrack. And we love the way it's old and wore out and slick and slide around. And you know, we got everything we could out of it, but unfortunately it's run its course.
All right, wish you good well this weekend, Krista.
Danica Patrick going to try to squeeze in one more run. They went back on some changes before that last one. Tony Uri Jr. told her this should tighten you in and give you better rotation off. As she came in, she said, yes, I could get off the corner much better. She then said, I can't even see where my garage stall is. There are just too many people around it.
Wonder why.
She shouldn't be so popular.
I tell you something that she will realize in the morning. I notice, you know, back in the day when I would come to the racetrack for the first time, you work on stuff all day, get laps. But the biggest improvement she'll make is between now when she leaves the racetrack today, when she comes back in the morning, after she's had a chance to digest the whole day and process it all and see what she, you know, think about it, what I was doing on the racetrack and what I want the car to do. She'll come back tomorrow and be a lot better prepared after because right now stuff's happening so fast. She didn't have time to come in and really think about the racetrack and the line she's running and what she can do from the driver's seat to make it better. But she'll be a lot more able to help that car out tomorrow.
Hammond has the same problem Danica does. You see him in the garage, he can't hardly get any work done because there's too many people around. He's got his own posse. He's got paparazzi.
He's a celebrity.
He is. He is that.
Could you mind rephrasing that one more time? A celebrity? Mm-hmm. Okay. Would you like to analyze that and break it down and explain it, please?
That's how we say celebrity in Emporia.
Okay, now I understand it.
Kelly Byers, 16th overall, making his 2010 debut. Did not run that car at Daytona. Dale Earnhardt Jr. did. A different paint scheme, and it wound up upside down.
I think I'd have won a bit in that. I didn't look like fun.
Greg Biffle is a three-time winner here in the Nationwide Series in Fontana, California at the Auto Club Speedway. And right now he is the quickest. 26 laps of practice for the Biff. His fastest lap is a 40.79.
Joey Logano currently third.
Logano spent much of this practice atop the speed charts. He's followed by Steve Wallace, Colin Brown, James Busher, Brad Keselowski, 19-year-old Trevor Bayne, Kyle Busch, and Justin Allgaier. Saw Justin Allgaier on the Race Hub earlier this week. He's off to a great start. Penske Racing. Ricky Stenhouse, Carl Edwards, teammates at Roush Fenway, 11th and 12th, and Paul Menard, another Ford driver, right behind Edwards.
Yeah, Roush Fenway definitely has some young talent coming up through there. They got it mixed in there with a former champion, Carl Edwards, kind of like be the leader of that group. Take a look at it, Brendan Gaughan, driving that South Point Casino car owned by his father. I might go over and stay there this week, a couple nights while I'm over in Vegas. Pretty cool place to stay. He needs to find some speed, I know that much.
Will you make a wager or two while you're there?
I wish I had a bet on a couple things last year. I'll tell you that right now.
So Kevin Harvick being pushed in the garage. Meanwhile, Danica Patrick back out for a final run in closing minutes here. She's 27th overall, and she's run 34 laps.
Yeah, overall, I mean, I would have to say this has been a very productive day. You know, people had varying opinions of her Daytona. I thought she did, you know, accomplished a lot and learned a lot at Daytona. I think Tony Eury Jr. would have to say that, you know, if we get through this day and she learns as much as she does and is a top 25 caliber car for day one on the racetrack, I would have to say that's a success.
Krista.
That's exactly right, guys. I just checked in with Tony Eury Jr. He gave me the thumbs up. In terms of productivity, very successful.
Well, the thing I'm noticing right now, guys, if you'll listen to just the way she's working the throttle compared to what she did earlier, she's definitely more aggressive with it. She seemed like she's getting in the corner, letting it roll, but when she picks the throttle back up, she's feeding it back wide open. Red and black.
That's it. Shut her down, boys and girls. Practice is over. Final practice done here at the Auto Club Speedway. They will qualify tomorrow morning, actually 12:30 Eastern. We'll have that for you here on Speed. So take a look at the quickest laps here for the NASCAR Nationwide Series team.
Herman, you going to join us tomorrow morning?
Yes, sir.
Not too early for you right now. I know being a former driver that sometimes it's kind of hard to get you guys out of bed.
I'll be here. Look forward to it.
Don't forget, Sprint Cup qualifying coming up shortly. Meanwhile, let's go right to John Roberts.